Do not worry, son, that they are ahead of you. You should plan your life according to your own pace. This were the words of my father to me when I was in my teens and lost to the world. Today, we live in a world with absent or weak fathers who do not spend time to educate and equip their sons with the right skills to survive. Growing up, my father was never present, and I grew up resenting him for not being there for us. It was not until much later, when I was a grown-up, that I got to understood what had happened. That's when I started seeing him on a regular basis and got to gain skills and lessons from him. In this video, I share with you my own 6 personal life lessons that my father taught me. The very first lesson was that being physically attractive is a great way to get attention, but being mentally attractive is the only way to keep it. At first, this was challenging for me to understand, since I naturally assumed that people always love to stay around attractive people. I realized that no matter how attractive one is, if they don't have the right mindset, they can easily lose friendships and relationships. One of the most sure way for people to lose interest in you is when you have a negative mindset and do things such as complain all the time, being insecure every time, being always needy. People can see through your habits and mindset, so cultivate good habits and a positive mindset. Practice being self-sufficient, and instead of seeking gratitude from others, use that alone time for your grind and growth, and it will surely pay off. Now, for my second lesson, he insisted that if I got the first lesson right and found someone with whom I wanted to settle, the very first thing we needed to discuss before considering marriage was bills, parenting, what beliefs will be installed in our kids, childhood traumas, financial expectations, careers, and education. We all come from different backgrounds and we have different belief systems. Finding out how your partner thinks, views life, and how they approach situations is one of the most important things in life. Many people get divorced down the line because they never have the same goals and they end up growing apart. Discussing how you both want to spend your futures is important, since you can easily find out if the relationship was just a fling or if it was something serious. This point reminded me of my first lesson. Since you may find someone attractive, but once you get to know them, you realize they can't even hold a conversation and the attraction for them decreases. My third lesson was amazing because it got me to think of something I never had before. He told me that one should heal before having children so that your children don't have to heal from having you as a parent. Many times, people with childhood traumas and bad pasts usually tend to pass on those habits to their children subconsciously. The funny thing is that most people don't even know that they had a bad childhood in the first place. Most people develop this behaviors as a defense from all the pain that they experienced, and they may end up being bitter and full of rage. It's always important for you to constantly evaluate your moods and habits, especially if you find that you are easily triggered, and investigate the root causes of these triggers before you cause harm to your children. When I started the video, I talked of my father comforting me and telling me to take life with my own pace. This takes me to my fourth lesson, that I should never subscribe to other people's definition of fun, and that fun is mine to define. What is fun varies from one person to another. You may find skating fun, but dancing repulsive. We all have different tastes and preferences. You should choose what works for you and never be compelled to do anything you don't want simply because others are doing it. Now, you may ask yourself, what if they insist? This takes me to my fifth lesson. The fifth lesson was simple enough that I should normalize saying no without needing to over-explain yourself. If someone became offended by my boundaries, that is their problem. For me, this was the hardest thing to do because I was always such a people pleaser, and I usually found myself in sticky situations that I could have avoided in the first place had I said no. The very first times I tried this was challenging because I was not used to letting people down, and I would usually do what they want after seeing the disappointment in their faces. But in the long run, I was the one wasting a lot of time doing things that I did not want in the first place. I want to promise you that it gets easier as the days go by and you become honest with yourself and say no when it is required. My final lesson was that the age of 15-30 is the golden age of my life, and that I should know the difference between enjoying it and ruining it. It is indeed true that we never became young again, and that time flies. One thing I promise myself is that I will always strive hard and grow in secret, so that my older self can look back and thank me for not giving up. Instead of ruining my life with things that will only mess me up later, I choose to work and improve my life and finances. Those were the lessons that I learned and that I still live by now. I know some of them may be hard to apply at first, but trust me, being honest and true to yourself and standing for what you believe in is the most satisfying thing in this world. I know you have inspirations and dreams that you want to achieve. Mine is to encourage you and tell you that it is possible. If you dream it, you can achieve it.